It's just… body is a play of five elements. So is the world, so is the universe. Everything is a play of five elements. In these five, unless you want to explore mystical dimensions, you don't have to bother about the space. So there are only four. Among the four, 72% of your body is just water. Another 12% is earth. Only 12% of your body is actually earth. Largely it is water, so that's 84%. Another 6% is air. Air is the easiest thing to manage and take charge of because there is breath and you can take charge of it in a certain way. Another 4% is fire. Taking mastery over fire could do many things to you, but because you are householders living in family situation, you don't have to take charge of fire. You can keep it as it is, sometimes you can burn somebody a bit. You need it, right? You're married. Once in a way, if you don't burn them a bit, it may not work. The remaining 6% is space. You don't have to bother about that unless you want to explore mystical dimensions of the existence. To live well, four elements is enough. Fifth one is not relevant for people who just want to live well. It's very important. Because every substance, all the four elements have memory. Particularly earth and water have a very strong sense of memory. Today, modern science has explored this in a big way and they are proving to you that water has tremendous memory. Particularly about water, much research has happened. If I go to a new place, something sensitive, something important, if I go, I don't go and talk to the local guide. I'll just look for an unbroken rock, something that's not been touched and broken. I just go and sit. I know everything about them because there is a phenomenal memory out there. So with water, and water behaves in a certain way depending upon what type of memory it carries. It's from this, people are going to consecrated spaces or temples and dying for a few drops of water because the water has the memory of the divine. They want that water to get into them, that's what tirth means. Tirth means water which has the memory of the divine. You want that water which has a good memory to go into you. So, always your grandmothers were aware of this. They told you if somebody gives you water, first you must look at their face, not what they're giving you. Somebody gives you something to eat, don't look at the food, look at the person. How are they giving it? They need not chemically poison this. Just with the emotion and thought, things can go bad. So this is no more a grandmother story. This is scientifically proven now that this happens, that water has memory. You can either turn this sweet or make it bitter with your rubbish. If you can cause sweetness and bitterness for the water which is in this tumbler, can't you do this to the water that is here? So if you just make the waters within you sweet, you will become 72% okay. Okay? Another 12% of earth if you do, 84% you're doing great. Air, if you maintain it, 90% you're doing great. Fire, if you want to purify, it's much more work, it takes much more to purify the fires in you. Fire is in different ways. We call this there are various aspects of fire. There is reproductive fire, there is digestive fire, there is mental fire, there is heart fire, and there is inner fire. There are 5 dimensions of fire. These 5 are difficult to work for ordinary people, it takes a lot of discipline. But the 3 can be worked at. The reproductive fire, the digestive fire, and the mental fire can be worked at very easily. Very easily means with little effort, one can do that. The other 2, will take much more to work. If you just purify these fires, then you are no more an ordinary person. You're not just a healthy, happy person, you are much more. Because once you have mastery over the fire element in you, then you're touching the space. You're just one step away. Suddenly, you are not just an ordinary human being. You are not just happy and healthy human being. Something else is burning with you, which is not… most people in the world will never know. Or till now they have not. Our objective is everybody should know it. If you took charge of the fire in your groin, the fire in your belly and the fire in your mind, how many miraculous things you could do with this life, how much mastery you would have, and how well you could live, how consciously and how much by choice you could live, rather than be a slave of compulsiveness, isn't it? Yes? This is not about denying yourself this or that. This is just about everything happens by choice for you, not by compulsion. So, taking charge of the elements is the most fundamental form of yoga. And all yoga, whatever kind of yoga, everything is an offshoot of Bhuta Shuddhi. Either it is on the track or it's gotten distorted, but everything is an offshoot of this.
I have read in a book that those who are sitting with you, you will give liberation or good life. I see that it kills self-striving, it creates dependency. Why you should decide about me or anything? I should decide everything about me.
Shuddhi?
So I read in a book that so it means if I'm sitting with you means I have to follow you.
No? I said only if you sit with…
It creates dependency. It is means I'm dependent. I'm not striving.
You'll pay for it. If you're not striving, you'll pay for it. There's a fee. If you don't strive, one will pay, isn't it? In anything, in any aspect. Whether you're studying for an examination, or you're striving to improve your career, or you're doing business, or you're pursuing spiritual process, if there is no striving, there is a there is a fee for it, isn't it? No? Is there or is there not? There is always. Even if you get married, you have to strive every day to make it work, otherwise it won't work. I'm saying, it doesn't matter which aspect of life, if there is no striving, you pay. I understand what you're trying to ask, but that's a very simplistic process. I'm saying if you really sit with me, I didn't mean if you sit on the grass out there, this will happen. I said when you really sit with me. The very fact that you're asking the question, obviously you're not sitting with me, you're sitting by yourself. Sitting with me is a different aspect. If you really sit with me, yes. After that, no striving. But you will not become lethargic, for sure. It will just become a natural process for you to be like that. There are many people here for whom getting up in the morning and doing morning 5:30 sadhana is not a striving. There are some who are struggling and striving. For others, it's just like that, like all the birds wake up in the morning, they also wake up and do what they have to do. They're just here living, breathing, eating and doing whatever they can. There is no striving, okay? That is only when you don't really want to go somewhere. You want to go but you want to go somewhere else also, then there is striving. And this is the only place you want to go, there is no striving, simply you go, you know. There's no struggle and striving in that. That's why I said it's up to you. whether you want to go to your destination joyfully or kicking and crying, it's up to you. You can decide. But if you really sit with me, if you really sit with me means you got connected with me in some way energetically, then you can't go anywhere, you'll only go in one direction. You do this, that, whatever you do circus and go, or you go without circus, it's up to you. But that's if you really sit with me, not if you sit on the grasshopper there.
This was in 1939. And this family, a Jewish family in Germany or Austria probably, was taken away. First they took away the parents and they took away the children separately. And this girl who is 13 years of age at that time and her brother who is 8 years of age were brought to the railway station along with lots of other kids. Parents were taken away somewhere to some labor camp or something. These kids have been separated. And they pulled out from a wealthy family and now they're on the railway platform on a winter day. Kids are kids, once they're there, they're playing and this boy is going out playing with people, they're kicking around something, playing football, all this. Then the train came. Once the train came, the soldiers came and pushed everybody into the trains like cattle, they were all loaded up. And after they got into the train and train started moving, the boy said he forgot his shoes in the platform. The girl got so mad. 13-year-old girl, she's just been separated, bewildered, taken off from a wealthy family and now they're on the street, they don't know where they're going, what's next, they don't know anything. Now with history we know all the things that happen. At that moment, these little children, they don't know anything, what's going to happen. And now this fellow leaves his shoes and comes, it's a cold month. So she held him by the ear and twisted it as much as she wanted and she abused him. You idiot, I have enough trouble on my hands and now you have to leave your shoes and come. And when the next station came, they separated boys and girls. So he was taken away somewhere, she was taken away somewhere. 4 years later, she came out of a concentration camp. The only survivor of the family, 17 members of the family just disappeared, including that boy. She never figured where he went. He just evaporated somewhere. And all that she remembered was the last things that she said to that boy. She could have said something nice to him. All the horrible things she told him because he lost his shoes. And then when she came out of the concentration camp after 4.5 years, she made up her mind. It doesn't matter whom I speak. When I speak to somebody, if that happens to be the last time I speak to them, I should not regret. If you just speak like this to people, you will definitely say something else. And how do you know this will not be the last thing? Whoever is sitting next to you, how do you know that today is the last day that you're meeting them? It could be possible, isn't it? Yes? And this one vow that she took for herself just transformed her whole life and became such a beautiful human being because she decided whoever she talks to, she will talk to them as if in case this happens to be the last time, she will not regret it. Even such a horrific thing happens to her, she makes a blessing out of it. If you have a working intelligence, whatever happens in your life, you can turn that into a great possibility for you. Or whatever happens, you can make misery out of it. Isn't it so? Whatever the situation, it doesn't matter what's the situation, whatever the situation, you can turn it into a great possibility if only you are willing to look at it with openness. Everything can be done.